So we're talking about what it means to be a psychopath and how you too could be a psychopath. Here's how you know. You have no compassion. You are a great actor and basically can make everyone think that you're a wonderful person, but really you don't give a damn about anyone. And you are
Fearless.
angry and violent. Fearless?
You don't feel any.
Oh, no. They're the epitome of fear, pure fear. That's why they are who they are, because they are hiding from the depths. They're hiding the deep, penetrating fear that they will be found out who they really are.
Yeah.
That's the psychopathy that episode 13 of What on Earth is Happening definitely delved into that, and Mark, of course, continues that whole process. I think there was a couple of my favorite quotes in there. For sure, the one with Teddy Roosevelt. And when we were reading Tragedy and Hope and going through the process of learning about the creature from Jekyll Island, books that you should definitely avail yourself of. Get the Cliff Notes of Tragedy and Hope 101. It's definitely a must read, if you can get a hold of that. But the quote by Teddy Roosevelt, where he talks about that there is a hidden government enthroned, and they have no responsibility, no accountability, no allegiance, and that is who is running the world. And that was back when Teddy Roosevelt was president. And remember, wasn't Teddy brought in to basically, you had Woodrow Wilson, and the enthroned powers that be were totally controlling Woodrow Wilson. So they knew they'd get him to sign for the what has become the Federal Reserve, which is this enthroned power that has no allegiance, no responsibility, and keeps this manipulated, controlled, financial, hierarchical, compartmentalized insanity that we have and that we're living in and that we are experiencing and suffering from because of that heap of lies. And that's all it really is a bunch of heap of lies, and it's a mess. So, hey, Ryder, how's it going over there?
Good.
I don't know if you're going to be in the screen if you don't come on a little closer. So you just listened to episode 13 of What on Earth is Happening. Yeah. What's your number one takeaway?
The controlling has been put in place the same way, and that the dark occult is very good at utilizing the slight edge principle.
Which is?
Small, seemingly insignificant in the moment actions over a long course of time that will have a night and day effect when you look at these before and after.
Yeah, when you look at the scope and that consistency, it's consistent. Mm-hmm. That's right. 24/7, they are pumping out that BS, and people are scooping it up and eating it. And even on these episodes, it just boggles my mind that Dexter is one of the popular shows in this house, the complete epitome of complete psychopath, immoral, and that's entertainment. So why do you think we have an effed up world? There you go. Their input equals the output that we get, and most of the input that's happening in the average from the time someone is born, they have a device in their hand and they're being fed this garbage. And I don't know how in the world we are going to get out of it. I know Mark is pounding, let's go, folks. The most important thing you can do is communicate as quickly and as fast as possible in every possible way, because the sorcerers have got it going on 24/7. And as soon as anyone, it seems like, so I was thinking the Mr. Beast guy. I don't even know his name, but how at one time very popular, he had something that seemed to be seemingly good, and now an absolute is controlled and just another puppet on a string, and the hierarchical control mechanisms in place, and it's hidden from view, and there you have it. I want to grab this quote that the other one was one of the last ones, Vernon Howard. And this is so important for me, having been so indoctrinated into the Church of Scientology, where that body of data was the source by the person who created Scientology. And so that was source. When the true sources were not actually accredited, and that frustrates me, especially as I start to find the sources and the original materials of who wrote certain things. Like, for example, The Way Out is the Way Through. I mean, that's not original to Hubbard in Scientology. And so the more you start to see it, it's like, wow, this is literally another pocket of hierarchical control mechanism, hidden knowledge, hide everything and call it this level. You can't know anything about this, so that you can essentially control people and manipulate them and charge them a lot of money in order to have this knowledge. And it's gatekeeping. And wow, it's like, it's amazing to me. All I can do is be really grateful that that I'm waking up every day, and I can say to you, if you're waking up, welcome. It might not be comfortable, it might not be fun, but you will start to gain so much of your power that is innate to you. And when you start to lead your own thoughts and your emotions and your actions, and you are living a life from that whole place, that wholeness, and you've taken the blinders off and you stop pretending and stop lying to yourself, it makes life very different. 100% better, no question. But it's uncomfortable when you are surrounded by folks who are asleep, and not, I mean, they're pretending, right? They're pretending, they're sociopaths, and it's the cognitive dissonance. That's the thing, cognitive dissonance. And boy, do we have that rampant all over the place. Second takeaway, what was it?
Falling in line with the first point, just knowing that it is at this point basically the only solution to helping those in that trap is basically do the same thing, which is the stolen city way, because they have completely been manipulated and taken control of, and there is no hope for them at all in a quick and easy way.
You mean the sociopaths, the psychopaths,
but even the people who have just been manipulated, who aren't even,
because their brains are so.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can't actually do anything about that unless you put at least some form of equivalent time into it. Even if it's not the exact amount of time, because they've been doing it for their whole life, you need to put in such a big amount of time.
Yeah.
And the issue is you can't do that unless they're willing to change as well. Because if they're not, then the habits that are already there will always overpower it. And it's where the good will not overshadow the bad unless they're willing to completely listen and devote themselves to the good. So it's almost...
it's the good is what is true.
Right.
And all that takes is in any moment
acknowledging it.
Exactly.
But
absolutely,
they have to acknowledge it first, and you can't make them acknowledge it. Because you've already seen it, how
that's where you started with the very first thing, is solipsism.
Right.
If someone does not believe that there is truth or can be truth, that there's versions of truth and there's all of this, then that worldview right there will stop you in your tracks from ever being able to know the truth, if you don't believe that there's truth to be known. And we've seen that. We've seen that firsthand. and have tried to
Well,
help.
that's the other thing that's what I'm saying, which
Yeah.
is it's in a place now where when you do try to help, it's not even it's worse than solipsism, because it's not just that they don't believe it, it's that they think it is just a worse way of living. It's not like,
What's a worse way of living?
if we think like, okay, so going out doing these activities is better, like, okay, it's going to be objectively better to do this because you're getting outside, you're whatever it is. I'm just using another example. Like, this is the better thing to do. Not doing something as well, it's better to not do this, and this is a better way to do something. It's not just disregarding that as in, no, it's not really at all, actually, that doesn't exist. It's saying that, no, that's actively worse. And I think people think that as well.
But you have to go back to the original piece, and that's people don't even know how to look. They don't even know how to look at something and be able to differentiate between something that's healthy, true, false.
They've been made to know what feels better because of the instant gratification. We talk about it, right? Delayed.
I don't think so. I think there's such a veil over their lives.
And now they've been taught. Think about how many people argue with you or argue with anyone in a conversation about something that to you seems like, yes, this is better. Or they think, no, it's better to do this way, or it'll be worse. Like if you say to a parent, why are you letting your...
I think it is literally that they're on an assembly line because they are so under mind control. And this is like when I first got pregnant, the mind control assembly line was that you go in and you have these specific things, and this is what you do, and you follow along, you follow the orders, you follow orders,
and without questioning,
without questioning.
And now here's the issue: how many people look at home birth and say, "No, that's dangerous," because what if it,
I know my own mother was like,
that's
that
what
I was
I'm saying.
being
That's what I'm
evil
saying. It's not just
because
saying,
I was doing that.
It's not just people thinking, no, I don't believe that that's a better way to do it. I'm going to do this. It's not just that. It's also actively against it.
Totally under mind control.
You cannot help those people because they're not only under mind control, they've been, because it's the difference between being a complete puppet and also being a puppet but believing you're not a puppet.
So that is ignoring reality and cognitive dissonance.
Yes, that's the cognitive dissonance, which is what he's talking about, which is they're not just a puppet. They think that they are in control of their own life. They think that they are earning,
and that is the pure manipulation of mind control, which is what the sorcerer's agenda is.
They say you get home, like you build this habit. You get home, you crack open the beer from the fridge, you put on the TV, but you don't know if it's really you don't know if you actually want that beer. You don't know if there's anything you actually want to watch on the TV. You just have that habit to reward yourself. They have made it seem like you are and then people don't question that habit. They will continue to do habits like that anyway, thinking that that's what their choice is, that they earned it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the issue is not doing anything else more productive or trying to be more conscious about it. They will fight against it. It's not just not doing it. They will actively look for a different way. Like just not, if you give them the
So
path,
how do we change this? How are we going to shift this?
It is the only way, which is slow and steady. Not just slow, but steady progress done over.
Even to those who don't want it?
You can't do it against them because you can't do it against the people who don't want it. If they don't want it, then not only will it take, because then you have to give more of yourself. And the issue is that it's not just you against them, it's you against them and their programming, which is better than anything that you can give to them. The programming, and I'm not saying better as in healthier, better as in it's so much more ingrained, it's so much easier, it's so much more comfortable. Because if you ask somebody, okay, let's say you want to stop doing any drugs from the medicine. You got to stop doing this. What if I get cold, or sick or whatever? You give them the answer. What if I break my arm? But I have the hospital right here. I have
exactly.
All this is easy to access.
This right here, what you're talking about, that cognitive dissonance is so huge. I was literally in the store. I think it was yesterday, today. I was listening to this ad. It was last night. I was listening to this commercial that was coming on the radio in this store, where they were talking about this acne medication, the side effects. They went on and listed this entire thing of side effects. If you have acne and you should be taking this, but the side effects are suicide, depression, this, if you have any kind, and then it went on for like 20 seconds of listing all the things. And I thought, what in the F? This is like
And the
talk
issue,
about that's
and
the
the
cognitive
issue
dissonance. That's like,
is, I
but
feel
people,
like at this
but people
point,
still buy it.
at this
And there's
thing, it's not even
ads
that
on
they're
this.
saying, they're not even saying that because that probably doesn't do any of those side effects at all. They're just putting it there to make people subconsciously think that that's okay. Because that's probably what they're doing. Because think about this.
But then,
how can a drug make you directly make you do suicide? A drug.
because it screws up your brain.
Exactly,
because it literally screws up your brain.
Does it screw up your brain by actual contact, or does it do it because they're saying these are all the negative side effects,
Well,
and you
think about
actively choose that anyway?
Well, we can
That's what
keep
you're
going.
doing. Right, because if
And
they
that's
say,
the cognitive
if it's
dissonance, but
and
then
that's
it's also
that's why,
exactly
because
this
it's
is like a
easier to do.
hodgepodge. It's
Because
just a whole
easier
total
to
heap
do.
of a
It
shit
is so
show.
much easier to just take that medication anyway than it is to actually find out a healthier natural solution without any side effects.
Yeah.
It is so, because it's right there, and that's the thing that has been, like you said, the conveyor belt. If you fall in line and conform to the standards, your entire life can be planned and set up for you. You can you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this in this order. You don't have to think.
Right.
Everything of the life. So that's why it's harder. Yeah, that's why it's impossible. It is impossible
it is
to
so
help people who don't want to
heartbreaking
have
and
to be
so
helped.
sad.
But
How that
you
is
can't help. Think about how it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink no matter what. If the horse does not drink the water, no matter how much you force them, they will end up dying. Because the truth is that body needs water to survive. If they will not do what is required, there is nothing you literally cannot stop. You cannot help that horse and stop it from drying out and killing itself. You cannot stop that at all. It's the same thing with
and
humans.
you know,
It's
I
worse because
try
there's even
and
more.
I will keep trying.
Yes, and you'll keep trying. And at
which
this
is
point,
ridiculous
and
because then it's
this
just
is what the
my
dark
own
occult has set up for
cognitive
us.
dissonance.
This is what the dark occult has set up for the good people who are trying to help. Because now it's a ball and chain. So you're stuck, and you're not, instead of trying to help the others, like-minded individuals or people who actually benefit from it, you're stuck trying to help something that's never going to change. And it's a sad thing because we're in such a situation where we're in this idea of each individual person needs to be saved, but that's not really true. You can't do that anymore. You have to find individual people who are not just willing to change, but you need to find groups of people who can reflect the things around, right? They need to be able to echo chamber and reflect the positive on each other. Because if you just tell somebody who's been so far trapped, this is what you should do, and it's a hard change, how you can never just expect them to do that.
But
so they need to have a group.
So I have empirical evidence of steady, consistent hope or trying to change for decades and not seeing that, and still
exactly, because this is what I'm saying. The steady work only works on somebody who is willing to accept it, on someone who is willing to change as well. It's the same thing about how a fight, you need two people to have a fight. One person standing there and getting beat up is not a fight.
Yeah.
You need two.
Well, and
parties.
It's also the fact that the sorcerers they're on 24/7, and when people are plugged into that,
it's still easy. It's still
even
so
27. They are,
because here's the sad thing: you literally have to do nothing to keep building those negative habits.
Yeah,
you
that's
do
true.
Absolutely nothing. Think
right,
about anytime you're sitting and watching a ridiculous show or a movie. You are doing nothing. That's the problem. It's because it's for them, for what you want to help somebody with, they have to actively do something.
Yeah.
Because that's the purpose, is you are supposed to do something to improve.
Yeah.
However, the dark occultists are trying to make you not do anything, not even do nothing. Well, I guess, yes, do nothing. You are actively doing it. You are choosing to not do anything with your ability.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people. Okay, let's see.
Really good. Dennis, so good to see you. So first, don't go with what feels good, but rather go with what feels true. And I wonder if people have just totally disconnected to what feels true.
They don't know, because they can't feel anything. The only thing that they can't feel anything with their actual spirit anymore. They don't know that. All they feel is what is the pleasure sensors in their body. Does this taste good? Does this feel good?
And that right there is the exact purpose what the sorcerers are doing, which is splitting the physical manifestation and the spiritual manifestation through mind control. And that's what episode 13 goes into deeply. I would highly recommend you listen to it and read with the transcript that Dennis provides as you go through this, because he talks specifically about that split between the physical and the spiritual, and it's done through mind control. And that right there, even just talking about that helps me get outside of this. Where he gives a quote on Vernon Howard saying that the human sickness, that's another reason I love having the transcript, is that we can just repeat it back. Human sickness can only, once you see the human sickness, you become well. And then
yes,
the piece of the only way out is through. And on that specifically is that, that's what I was going to say. Because when I read that, I'm like, yeah, L. Ron Hubbard or Scientology, whomever puts out the body of knowledge of that, says the only way out is through, and attributes that quote directly to Hubbard. He is not the source of that. I've heard it repeatedly, and that again frustrates me.
So just another way that they can,
manipulating and control. So now he talks about, Dennis says the controllers can turn your Sophia, the divine energy, the care aspect, against yourself, because you want to save everybody. Yep, that's literally how I spent the first 35 years of my life.
And now
that is mind controlled. The controllers
this.
mess mind and natural want to help. Yep.
How many people could you have saved if you put your energy towards someone who wanted that help?
How about if I just went myself
first and
foremost, spent time understanding my own truth? Nope, I wasn't allowed. I had to help everybody else because that was my duty. And that was, I wonder how much Scientology is actually a total manipulated mind control, some kind of controlled opposition.
We've already talked about how it's, we'll see what he says, because next week he's going to talk about certain groups, but we can already look at that first and foremost from the content of the works, and we can see the people who are currently the big names for it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, how is Scientology seen by the public eye? As a cult, as a negative religion.
Right, hidden. For sure. And it is. There is absolute, pure, hierarchical, compartmentalized.
I'm sure that
and then completely inverted.
When you were younger, I'm sure that Scientology was seen as something, as an up and coming good religion to be part of. Probably it was something like, oh, this is something that you should join.
It was this, and the book Dianetics was. I read it when I was 17. Could not put it down. Thought it was absolutely brilliant.
And that's the trap. That's how he got you in, because he's...
Well, no, because it gave me something to understand mind and mind control, and how an engram, which is basically a recording of the painful incident, the traumatic incident, is now laid down. But anybody could now look at Bruce Lipton's work, which
we see a lot of.
He mentions this. Greg Braden's work, right?
Yes.
All of that body of work is so much more effective than going through a hidden body of grades up a bridge and spending $250,000 to $500,000 on something that is literally more mind control. So I don't want to go off on a tangent anymore on that, because, well, all I can say is run, don't walk, run away from that as fast as possible. And any body of data that is hidden or trying to be kept, gate kept. No bueno, no good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, send the website again. I'll put that on there. You're going to be doing episode 14 soon. Good. Getting ahead of us. I appreciate that. It actually helps me, because then I can read through it. I can actually read faster than listening. And my ability to retain is, for me, it's writing. But you like audio, don't you? Right. Yeah. Dennis says you can't save everybody. So I'll show this. Whoops. Do this. There we go. You can't save everybody, but I'm pretty sure that true God can eventually save everybody. So let it go and trust justice for the controllers will be in the end. I don't know about that. See, I can go into this whole thing with the law of attraction because I was all into that for a long time, and that's how everything, is just like, oh, can't we all just get along? Let's all be nice.
Justice,
But I
and then
think,
it will erase them as well, not getting along. Is what the point is, because some of these people.
but you have to look at unity consciousness, and if you do,
I don't need it. The unity consciousness, maybe.
well, versus duality, because that's what we're dealing with right now. Is that egotistical reptile? I must survive, and I will eat you alive in order to survive. That's the duality consciousness. Is it's all for me and none for you because I need to survive, and if I don't survive, then
that's what the dark occultists are.
Well, that's the whole game that they're playing. But somehow we have to do the Matrix thing where we go in and assimilate Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
Agent Smith. We have to go in and assimilate him and then explode it.
Yeah.
Ay. What? Ugh.
It's hard.
Okay, so let's see what he's got to say. I suggest display the website again. Yeah, put that in the chat. I'll put that up again on the notes here. Any organization has hierarchy. Yep. And compartmentalization. So all of these are for control. Scientology, Catholicism, church, government, etc.
Yeah.
Finance. I was just watching this documentary on the financial system and the history of this, how unbelievable the bait and switch and the debt to keep the debt going infinitely. And I mean, it's like, holy smoke, how many people are suffering so terribly because of this monetary, financial, pure black sorcery, insane criminal, the worst of the worst. Why? Like how? Like no, this just, it's so stupid. I don't know. I don't even. Yeah. Okay.
I heard interesting about how you can look at certain places that will do like the discounts, like if you buy this amount, it'll be less, or like if they show you a price, and just seeing how now a lot of companies are now manipulate, like targeting for the children's gambling aspect, try to like get them hooked on gambling immediately, getting them hooked on spending money that they don't have immediately. And you can see that within a lot of kids who will ask their parents to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And then they will just have that habit built, and they will have the habit built that something else will take care of it. And that's where the credit cards will be. That's where they'll get themselves in debt forever. That's where
that's the whole game. That's just this game. But this, I mean, I think that we're closer to the end than we are to a solution. I think that this universe, this
not universe, just this world.
This world is on its way out. I really think that this is the dwindling spiral on its way out. And
so I think it'll still probably take another, like, it could take another 100 years. I mean, it could take maybe 20 years. It could take another 100 years. It just depends.
Yeah, because it's definitely going to have to. It's going to invert on itself. There's just
unmasked, and we know what the final
ultimate pure evil, immoral.
Because at this point, there's enough control. There's nothing more that they have so much control on everything. So you have to ask, what is their actual final plan? At this point, it is just extermination.
Well, it's pure slavery and then extermination.
Not even slavery. They already have enough slaves. They have what they want already. So it's
That's
just
true.
Everything. So at this point, what is they've reached the goal at this point. It's never been this bad, even during actual slavery times, because you know what, the slaves would pick up and fight for themselves. They would run. They would free themselves.
And I don't think anybody would.
Not in this country.
Because they're so manipulated already. It's like Trump will save us.
Chains, whips didn't work, so now let them imprison themselves. They tried to target the body, and they could not take away the spirit and the mind. Now, instead of trying to target the body, they're now targeting the spirit and the mind. Mostly the mind, which is then affecting the spirit and the body. Because your mind can make you choose to do things that are bad for the body. That's why the obesity rates go up, unhealthy, all this stuff. So now you can't even fight back. A lot of people couldn't. Think about a lot of people who aren't healthy enough, they couldn't even move properly. They can't do this and this and this.
Yeah.
Not even just that, even athletes who are in this position, well, you know what? They're probably on so many different drugs. The second they lose access to that, what's going to happen there. Not even just actual like performance enhancing drugs, any sort of sleep aid, any sort of stress medication.
Yeah,
as soon as it
it's
goes, imagine what's
everywhere.
going to happen for them.
Okay, so we have to look at some positive pieces for sure. Was there anything positive in this episode? Anything at all?
Yeah, we're just going to talk about the next. Just going to bring light on people. We're just going to like name a few things.
I love this about power is knowledge properly and morally applied. I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
And the overall piece around psychopathic qualities, that they don't have a conscience. None. And that what's so sad, I remember seeing that documentary where I can't remember her name, but she was the one that was saved by Mark, to not Mark Passio, but she got it. What's her name? Catherine. She talks about how George W. Bush Jr. or George Bush Jr. was beaten and basically made into a psychopath, literally made into a psychopath. And that's what they do. Psychopaths make psychopaths because they can be controlled.
Yeah.
And why? It's like, and I do like this. This really helped me a lot when I first heard this, the very first time I was listening to these episodes. He said, you have to wake up if you think, no, they can't.
They wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that. I can't imagine that they would do that. Like, wake the because I couldn't, so I would never. It wasn't fathomable.
Yeah, that's right.
And now I'm like, that was the most painful experience when I was first going through these episodes, is to believe that that kind of psychopathic evil, because I'd seen it, but I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to make excuses for it and make it be pretty and shine it and make it all sweet and light. And again, lying to myself, lies and more lies. And now here we are. So let's talk about Catherine Austin Fitts, and then you'll tell me anything else you have to say, and then we'll keep this short. Bitcoin. I want to learn about this and understand.
Unless you're able to manipulate the system yourself and have complete control of it, that'll disappear in seconds.
It's just
the same with anything online.
Right. I just look back at what can I do to serve another, to support another, and in exchange, I can either.
Some people you just have to use as a resource and take from them, because that's what they're getting turned into.
So well, I'm talking about just not just it being money, and I don't think. I mean, if it came down to the end of the end, I would be the one in there helping till the end of my breath. I wouldn't run off and escape to a commune or to an off-grid thing, because I would do everything I could to help until I couldn't help anymore, and that would be the end of me.
What if you help someone who is then going to go and infect and then hurt everybody else?
Well, no. I mean, I would not be helping that. I would be helping those that...
You've been doing that. And what if you got manipulated anyway?
Ouch. Okay, let me just sit with that, because I know you didn't mean it to be mean, but say it again, what you just said.
So what happens if you help? What happens if on the Titanic they decide to let somebody on the boat early, and that person goes ahead and kills 10 people after? If
we're going to get into the Titanic, then let's just say that was a total setup. The captain was in on it. He was part of it, and they murdered all of them. It was a pure massacre and murder. Well,
so what happens?
You asked the question specifically.
What happens if you help somebody who is then going to go and cause more harm? Because that is the way that a lot of people, you can see direct correlation with people helped these people one of them, and because of the trauma or whatever excuse they want to give, ends up doing almost worse things.
I don't know.
So what
That's something to contemplate, I guess. But if I see someone who needs help, I'm gonna help them.
What if they get themselves in their own mess? What if they
Okay.
If they decide
all right,
to
I get what you're
kick
saying. So
a small,
if my
kick
son
a
or someone I care about or someone I
someone
can
who you
see
is good.
needs
What if
support,
they- yeah.
I'm going to help them.
What if they decide, they,
And if I have to pick up a
they
gun to help
stomp-
them, I will do
They
that.
stomp on a little dog, and then the dog's parent decides to bite it and is going to maim and kill that person. Do you decide to help that person, even though they, in front of the animal, crushed the small puppy? Which life is more important? Is it going to be helping this person who is in need?
Did I see that they crushed the puppy?
Why does it matter?
Well, it matters because
because you need the context for it, right?
I need the context.
So
exactly. Otherwise, I wouldn't
them?
have all the data. I would just be helping
So
random.
you help them, and then they go and crush 10 more puppies after. And that pattern doesn't stop.
I think I get what you're saying. saying.
It's
but
just because
so just
yeah.
No allegory. I'm like that. Don't just straight up to my face. Put it in my face so I can deal with it straight up. No allegories. The fact that I want to help and I would help anyone who needed help isn't so much what's wrong or bad.
No, it's not what's bad at all.
It's that
you have to choose carefully who you decide to put your energy towards, because
I'm also doing servitude, which is the old pattern.
Right. Servitude versus actually helping someone. You need to choose consciously.
Yeah, to choose intentionally, consciously, right.
Decide it needs help. And you have to decide not everyone is good. And that's okay. If everyone was good, then you wouldn't have anything to compare them to. You have to decide that some people are worth the effort, are worth giving them something, because they will end up doing more good.
Yes.
Help.
And there's your fool me once.
Right. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Okay. There we go. Yeah. There's another one. Yeah. Boom.
It's good.
What else? Anything else that you want to talk about? Look in the mirror. That's the name of the game. Looking in the mirror. I don't know if I've done that today. I need to go look at the gal in the glass. And look at what the war on consciousness is doing. It is, Dennis, I'm really curious how you deal with it. Do you just avoid it? How do you? I am in a big city now. And there is so much stupidity and actions taken. Let's just talk about traffic and driving. Literally no turn signals, no nothing, and just pull right in front of you and cross 2 lanes. It's not necessarily immoral. It's not necessarily, are they necessarily harming? Is it like, should there be police or, order followers? Like what? Yeah, I can honk. But that is one little example of so many in this city where I see so much more, where I almost feel like I don't have a moment to breathe. I haven't built that in to go out and just be in nature, and I need to build that back in. But it's just like there's so much. That's the normal, right? And that normal is.
That's good.
So you research, you learn, you do what the F.
Sight, etc. As a way to burn off.
It helps you. It doesn't actually get you more frustrated. So going through this the second time, I'm going through this with in mind that I know I'm going to have the discussion with my son, and we'll be able to dialogue on this. And he has a totally different viewpoint than I do. His take on it is very different than my original take. I was very depressed going through the first series. My whole reality was shattered in the first 20 episodes. And I really had a hard time processing it. And it was not pretty. I don't think I could have done more research, because the things that I had been doing before was always about positive, always about what can I do to help, learning more tools to help, learning more skills to help, learning more better this and everything, law of attraction, all that. So I was focused on all of that. Knowing things helps deal with things. As more frustrating to just feel things are wrong but don't know why. Yep. Yep. So knowing things, and so this goes to the quote that he talked about in 13, which is power is knowledge properly and morally applied. It's the action. I don't know if this is the right action to be doing this episode. Who knows who will see it? I really appreciate you, Dennis, sharing and transcribing. Of course, appreciate you. And Gigi. So sweet.
Good point.
I don't know what else I look at,
It's a lesson.
after doing Ryder didn't do the shadow work seminar with me, but I took some of the slides and I shared some of the basics. It's the same stuff I've always been doing, just in a more mom gentle way. The inner work. I've done the inner work since I was 2, but really deeply practicing yoga and doing the inner work for a long period of time. And then every day of my boys' lives, we would do the inner work, because I wanted them to know themselves, right? First, know themselves. Knowledge is not power, but rather what you do with knowledge is power. So I do something with the knowledge, and that helps me. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So my idea, or my feeling that this is this all there is? Well, okay, this is what I can start with.
Well, this is all you.
And then
all that there is that this is what can you do with it. It's like you're thinking too much in the idea that's an infinite sandbox of infinite potential, but there are constraints, and that's what makes it fun, because you get to do your best to max out the constraints.
There you go. Well, I want to keep going. We want to get to 14, 15, 16, 17. That's the dangerous one. That's the
awesome.
That's the yeah.
Fun.
That's where it's like, oh my gosh, is this really? Is that I had totally was naive and had no clue what the amount of sorcery evilness is. I want to mention Reality Revolt. Is it Dimitri? He's on Instagram. Reality Revolt. Highly recommend checking him out. It's really interesting. He does a really good job. He's French. And I would highly recommend checking him out. Reality.revolt. And I don't see his name on here. Something. Dimitri Legand. He does really good videos on highlighting what's going on. It's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, Dennis, anything else you want to say? If you put the link in, I'll just put this on here, and then I want to have, I'll go back and get the show notes when I log back in, because I am going to be digital sunset very soon here. You're going to try and get ahead of us. Awesome. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I will tell you something. Those will be there for posterity. There's the words. I mean, that someone can search the search engine. They're now in the ethers in words. Exactly. They're tangible. And I think it's very valuable, because anybody could then take that and be able to go and click like Control F and find if they're looking for that. That's one of the great things about having words, is you can literally find it, as opposed to like, what episode was that? What episode was that? We had the transcript. So it's very valuable.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, you're going to be done with 14? Yeah, that's awesome. Okay,
nice.
So then I'll use it. I'll watch it. I'll watch my email for it. And we'll add this and then merge them together to make sure so folks can get on that and we'll do 14 and 15 in the next week or whenever we get the next one.
That sounds good.
From you, Dennis. So you're ahead of the game now.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Have a great night. Happy